All right, so I'm going to go over the questions from the review part 2. The first one was a function review. It was reminding you what domain and range were. Well, domain is all of the x values. So remember, we use the fancy brackets and then we write it in numeric order and we don't repeat anything, which you'll see in the next one. So the domain is 1, 2, 3, and the range is all of the y values. So 4, 6, 8, and we still use those fancy parentheses. Functions don't have any x's that repeat. So since 1 is different than 2, which is different than 3, this is a function. The x's don't repeat. Same kind of question for the next one. The domain is all of the x values. We use the fancy parentheses and then we don't repeat the number. So even though it's 1, 1, 1, we just write the number 1. The range is all of the y values. So 2, 6, and 10. Is it a function? No, because 1 went to 2, 6, and 10. So the 1's repeated, and that's an x value. It doesn't matter if the y values repeat, but it does matter if the x values repeat. The next one is a vertical line review. That is where we draw a vertical line. If it only passes once, it is a function. If it passes more than once, it's not a function. So then we check this one. It only passes that vertical line one time, so that's a yes. Same thing for the next one. If it only passes once, it is a function. If it passes more than once, it's not a function. And then this one also only passes once. This is a proportions review. So proportions are functions that increase or decrease at a constant rate, and they start from the origin. So is the table a proportion? If so, write a proportional equation. That's where we do our y over our x, so our 4 over our 2, our 10 over our 5, and our 18 over our 9. So we should have gotten that all of these are 2, and our proportional equation is y equals 2x. Same thing, 1 over 3, 2 over 6, 3 over 9. That all gives us 1/3. So we write the proportional equation y equals 1/3 x. Remember, proportional equations look like y equals mx. Whatever you find as the constant is what you replace with m. So the last one, 8 over 2, 16 over 4, and 40 over 10. I always know what number to put on top because it's in the y column. All of those simplify down to 4. So our equation is y equals 4x. This is where we make the table, state the unit rate, and then graph the points. We make the table by doing 4 times whatever x is. So y equals 4 times 0 would give us 0. Y equals 4 times 1 would give us 4. Y equals 4 times 2, which would give us 6. Y equals 4 times 3, which will give us 12. And then y equals 4 times 4, which is 16. The unit rate is the constant of proportionality, so 4. Now we can plot the points, 1, 4. You can also check by doing your rise over your run. Even if you plotted the points like normally, you would get the same thing. So 1, 4 would be rising 4 and over 1, rising 4 over 1, rising 4 over 1. And that's how we graph that. We do the same thing for 3x. You should have gotten 0, 3, 6, 9, and 12. The unit rate of 3, and then it's 1, 3. So up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. There you go. The point 3, 12 is on a proportional graph. What equation represents the situation? Well, that is where we have to find the constant of proportionality, which is our y over our x. So our 12 over our 3, which is equal to 4. To make the equation, we do y equals mx and replace it with our constant. That's how you make a proportional equation from a point. Next one, y over x. So it's our y over our x, our 1 over our 5. That is a simplified fraction, so my equation is y equals 1/5 x. Little slope review here for you. We find the slope by doing our rise over our run. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then running 2. Our rise was 4 over our run, which was 2. 4 over 2 simplifies to 2. Looking at the next one, this is going to be a negative slope because it's going downhill. So my final answer should be negative. And it is. Our rise was -3 and our run was +2. See how much we rise on this one. I know it's going to be positive because it's going uphill from left to right. We rise 3 and we run 4. So 3 over 4. This one we had to put 2 points on the graph and then we can check. Bike is going downhill, so it's negative, which will give us -2 over 4, which is simplified to -1/2. All right, finally, we've got some slope formula review. So we're using the formula y2 minus y1. So first we have to label all of our points. And then we plug them in. So our y2 was 2, our y1 was 3, our x2 was 4, and our x1 is 1. 2 minus 3 is -1. 4 minus 1 is 3. We move to the next one. It's always x1, y1. Oops. And then x2, y2. So our y2 is 3, our y1 is 4, our x2 is 8, and our x1 is -1. So we write that as a minus a negative. 3 minus 4 is -1. 8 minus 1 is +9. So we've got -1/9. Same thing, x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 is 3, y1 is also 3, x2 is 5, and x1 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0, and 5 minus 2 is 3. 0 on top is okay, which means it's going to give us 0 as an answer. It's going to give us a real number. Next one, we've got x1, y1, x2, y2. 3 minus 4, and then 2 minus 2. -1 over 0, well, that's a 0 on the bottom, sorry, which is a no. And we call it that because it gives us an undefined slope. If you put that in your calculator, you would get error. So that one is undefined. Okay, that is that.